Congresswoman, I would suggest that you might be a little wrong in the $700 billion bailout. The fact is, first of all, it did work in many respects to stabilize the financial markets. And it got things going back again. And so I think it avoided a severe economic collapse in the financial system. But beyond that point, about $675 billion of that dollars have been repaid to the United States government. So we're only on the hook for about $25 billion out of that $700 billion. So that money's come back to us, most of it. And it's done a lot of good. Beyond that, if you take a look at Detroit with the so-called GM bailout, we put a lot of auto workers back on the payroll, 133,000 more auto workers working after the bailout, so-called bailout, than there were before. A lot of people kept their jobs who didn't have them, wouldn't have kept them otherwise. We are making cars in Detroit where instead of being made in South Korea and Japan, because GM is prospering again. So I think that was also a very good investment on the part of the American people.
Well, I would say that under our system of government and under a free market economy, I personally don't believe that the federal government has any business bailing out any private industry, and I think that one thing that you can't account for is the moral hazard that the federal government creates. This isn't the first time that we bailed out Wall Street. We started bailing out Wall Street in the 1990s. The reason why we ended up bailing out Wall Street this time is because of the pattern of bailouts that began in the 1990s under Bill Clinton. That Wall Street was bailed out because they made bad bets to Mexico in the 1990s. And the federal government came along and bailed them out. And so what we did is, just like bad parenting, we taught the Wall Streeters that you can go ahead and you can roll the dice and you can pocket all the private profits you want, but when you make a really bad bet, then you're going to socialize your losses and stick your losses to the American taxpayer. I think that's wrong. That's flat out wrong. The taxpayer has no business and no obligation having to pay for Wall Street's bad bets. That's their bad bets and they can eat them.